and welcome to Every Quarter. This is episode number 40 and the date is 22nd July 2024. So in this episode, we are going to look at the different players in Zambia's stock market. So the title of this episode is Understanding Zambia's Stock Market, the Players. If you are going to invest in the stock market in Zambia, it is important that you understand the different players in the market. That is the most basic understanding that is required. Okay, so the Zambian stock market functions through the interaction of several key players. So it's a market because it's a place where you go to buy and sell your stock. And for it to function as a market, it has a number of players who work together to ensure that the market is functioning smoothly. There are quite a number of players in the market, but for our purposes in this video, we will just highlight a few key players. The first player I want to bring to your attention is the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. So the SEC works as a watchdog. So they act as a regulator of Zambia's security market. Their responsibility are to ensure fair trading practices by overseeing LUCE's operations. We'll see what LUCE is. You probably already know. 2, they protect investors from fraud and market manipulation. 3, they set and enforce rules and regulations for all market participants. So these are rules that all players in the market need to follow. 4, they promote investor education and awareness. So these are some of the responsibilities of the Securities and Exchange Commission. By law, they are tasked with the responsibility of regulating Zambia's security market so that it is fair for all and investors are protected. The second player is the Lusaka Securities Exchange. So this is the marketplace, okay? And they act as a central platform where investors buy and sell securities. Okay, so the responsibility of the Lusaka Securities Exchange is to provide a transparent and efficient platform for trading listed company shares and other instruments. They set trading hours and ensure orderly execution of buy and sell orders. They disseminate market information and data to investors. They also maintain a central share depository, CSD, for electronically recording ownership of listed securities. We will get into the details of how this happens in future episodes. But for our purposes in this video, I just want you to know that the Lusaka Securities Exchange is the market. This is the place where you buy and sell shares. The other player worth noting are the stockbrokers. So these are your go-betweens, the intermediaries. So they act as a bridge between investors and the LUCE, or investors and buyers. Sorry, investors and the companies they want to invest in, but through the LUCE. The responsibilities of stockbrokers are to buy and sell orders from investors, to route orders to the LUCE trading platform to manage client accounts and investments. Depending on their license, they may also provide investment advice and guidance. So the main thing that I want to get you to get from this player is that they are a go-between. So you do not directly deal with the Lusaka Securities Exchange when you are buying or selling stock. You go through stockbrokers. They are your intermediaries. The other player are the issuers. So these are companies seeking capital. So they have come to the Lusaka Securities Exchange. They have listed, their shares have been listed on the Lusaka Securities Exchange because they want to raise capital. So these are the issuers. These are the companies that you invest in. Okay. So the companies seeking the issuers are companies that list their shares or equities on the LUSE to raise funds for growth and expansion. They have a set of responsibility as well. It's their responsibility to meet the Security Exchange Commission's listing requirements for financial stability and transparency, comply with ongoing disclosure obligations to keep investors informed, offer a portion of company ownership to the public through the LUSE. Okay, so these are your companies. The other set of players are the investors themselves. So it's you and me, okay, as individuals or as institutions. So investors are the engine of Zambia's stock market. Okay, so these are individuals or institutions who participate in the stock market by buying and selling shares or securities. Okay, so amongst their responsibility as to conduct thorough research and due diligence on potential investments, understand their risk tolerance and investment goals, make informed investment decisions based on their research and risk tolerance. So how do they all come together and to perform duties um, in Zambia's stock market? How do they work together? So the issuers, who are the companies seeking capital, who approach the Security Exchange Commission for approval to list their shares on the LUSE. So if you're a company, you want to go public, you want to raise capital by selling shares on the Lusaka Securities Exchange, you approach the Securities Exchange Commission and you seek approval. Okay, so there's an application that you need to submit, and there are very specific regulations, rules that you must abide by. So the SEC reviews the company's application and ensures that they meet the listing requirements. Okay, so remember, the SEC is there to protect investors. So when a company approaches the SEC, it is the SEC's responsibility to ensure that it's a legit company. And how they do that is there is a very specific requirements that that company has to meet. And obviously, if that company meets all the requirements, the application gets approved. Then what happens? The LUSE then facilitates the listing process and provides the platform for trading the company's shares. So once the SEC has approved that this company can list their shares, then those shares can be listed on the Lusaka Securities Exchange. Basically, they are available on the platform that is provided by the LUCE for the public, the investors to begin to buy and sell those shares. For investors, how do they come in? They research and analyze the listed companies, then approach a broker to place a buy or sell order for those securities. Okay, so as an investor, once you've seen that there are shares that are being sold by this company, you approach your broker to buy those shares for you. Or if you have already invested in a company as an investor and you want to sell your shares, you approach a broker to sell and you give them an order that they sell a certain portion of shares for you. Okay, so 5 stockbrokers route investor orders to the LUCE's trading platform. The LUCE matches buy and sell orders and execute trades. So to sell shares, you must find a buyer. To buy shares, you must find someone that is selling. That's what number 6 is talking about. And all that matching of buyers and sellers is done on the Lusaka Securities Exchange platform. So as all this is happening, the Security Exchange Commission monitors the entire process to ensure that there is compliance with the regulations so that investor interests are protected. So in brief, that's really what happens in Zambia's stock market with regards to all these different players. Like I mentioned, there are many more or a few more players that are involved. This list is not meant to be exhaustive, but I think these are the key players that you should be aware of, and it is important that you know how they interact. This information will become very clear and very important as we begin to tackle some other concepts or some other topics with regards to stock investing in this series. So until next time, when I bring to you another video where we are learning something about Zambia's stock market, it's a pleasant day from me.